Hello and welcome back to Monkey Gardening. Sorry it's been a bit of a delay. I'm stood next to the tallest sunflowers that I've ever grown. They're still going. These two haven't flowered yet. This one has. The bees are loving this one. So yeah, it's been a bit of a delay. I've had lots of work to do and the weather's been a bit all over the place. But I thought I'd give us a little tour of the garden so you can see what's going on with everything. Okay, so starting bottom left, the potatoes are still going strong. They flowered, the flowers are gone, but they're still growing quite strongly. So I'm going to leave them for a while before digging around to see what the harvest is like. What I might do is have an experimental dig around in one of the ones that's in the bag, so I've got an idea of what's going on under the ground. They've been earthed up several times. I don't think they'll need earthing up again. With a bit of luck with all this growth, we should get a good crop, particularly as they've flowered and they haven't immediately sort of started dying back. Strawberry in the container, it never produced any fruit. The plant is quite old, so from next year I'm going to need some new plants. The thing with strawberries, they go for a few years but then they kind of get exhausted, so you need fresh stuff or propagate from the runners. The ones that set in the ground are still growing, but they didn't flower, so we didn't get any fruit there. My rosemary's looking very happy. It seems to like the weather at the moment. It's bringing on lots of growth. These two strawberry plants here are just about finished. They only produce very tiny strawberries, but they were okay to chuck in a smoothie or just eat as you're walking around the garden. My lemongrass plant, which I thought I'd nearly killed off, has really bounced back. It's really been liking this humid weather. So I'll keep it in this position for now, but if and when the weather starts getting a bit cooler, I'll either stick it under a polytunnel or bring it inside the house. This is the last remaining broad bean plant. I got rid of all the others, they weren't producing any more beans. I've just left this single one in a container and keeping it alive. I'm just curious as to whether it will flower or grow or do anything else. But all the rest I've got rid of now. We didn't get much of a crop. For some reason they hardly grew, but the crop I did get was nice. Lettuce, I simply can't keep up eating enough lettuce, so some of them are starting to bolt to go to flower, others are formed nice heads, so I'll harvest some of these. I need to really make an effort to eat more lettuce or give some of this away. Fennel's still doing good, although I haven't really found many opportunities for eating it. I should think about that. Chard here has got a bit nibbled, it's doing okay. The rocket has gone to flower, and so has this lot. So I'm going to sow some more lettuce. Lettuce will grow through the winter. I'd like to have more rocket, but not as much as this. It's too much lettuce. Once you get the plants established, you do get a big yield from lettuce. It's one of those things that's definitely worth growing. Although next year I'm going to move things around. I've learnt a lot this year about what likes to live where. What else? My blackberries are just starting to ripen. I haven't eaten any yet. I've got them netted up against the birds and the squirrels. My onions, for whatever reason, they just completely failed to grow. They initially put on a green shoot, but then just didn't do anything else. So for some reason they didn't like this position. Either there's not enough sun or they don't like the soil for some reason. What else? The raspberry plant, it's not produced any more raspberries now. Its season's finished, it's going dormant. Beans, I'm getting quite a lot of French beans off these little plants, and they are tiny plants but they're producing some beans, which is good. I've got a belotti bean here growing up the stem. No flowers, well, there's flowers just starting to come through. No fruit yet. My kale got attacked by caterpillars, but I treated it just like I have with the sprouts and the cabbages, which I'll show you in a minute. We seem to be winning. I think we might just be able to drag this thing back to life. But yeah, the caterpillars had a good nibble in here. Herbs, lots of thyme, which is lovely. Loads of mint. Mint doesn't give a damn, it just grows anyway. You don't have to look at it very well. More thyme. Coriander hasn't done great. It was doing good for a while. It's just gone all bolty. It hasn't really put any much more growth. So that's something else I'm going to sow. I need to keep on sowing herbs. They're one of the most useful things in the garden. Strawberries in the planter. Got a decent yield off these this year, but now I think it's pretty much stopped producing flowers. I'm still watering it, but again I need to think about getting some new plants for next year. Herb planter, some stuff's doing well. Rosemary's doing okay, thyme's doing nicely. The oregano's gone a bit leggy. It's probably not in the best position under this umbrella actually. Again, more potatoes, so we should get a decent potato yield. I'll be disappointed if we don't this year. What else? Basil that's just sat here, it's bolted. All of the other basil's gone. Again, I've not had a great deal of success with basil, but I'll sow some more. Okay, so coming down the left hand, we'll look at the bed in a minute. So tomatoes, they're all a bit of a mess and a bit overgrown. I've not really got the space for tomato plants. I either need a proper house for them to go in or not have as many, but never mind, they're happy enough. And we've got quite a lot of fruit coming through. I can show you. If it'll focus. So yeah, it's quite a lot of fruit coming through. Whether we'll get enough sunshine for things to ripen, we don't know. It really depends on how August and September goes. Experimental courgette is still going, now pretty much a marrow. The growth has slowed down, but we'll just keep going until it starts rotting. Let's see how big that goes. Nasturtium flowers, really nice, they keep flowering and flowering again. I found out the other day that nasturtium means nose twister. So nasturtium, same root as nasal. I'm not quite sure why it's called that. They don't have a particularly pungent smell, at least not to my nose. Cosmos flowers are still going. I've never grown this before. I didn't realise it'd be such a bushy thing, but the flowers keep on coming. It's really nice. Again, the bees really like that. My sweet pea, I never really got this trained properly in the beginning. It's a bit of a mess. I'll try again next year. I did have one flower which came through. It's there. And I did get a kind of Proustian rush as I smelt it. It reminded me exactly of the flowers I remember my granddad growing in his garden. Courgettes, still producing loads of fruit. Both the ones in containers and the ones in the bed. They're probably coming towards the end of their life now. But yeah, they've been well worth the effort. I've had plenty of courgettes. More belotti beans. Again, they've not really got the space to grow, but never mind. Should get some fruit out of that. There's plenty of flowers. As I say, the sunflowers are the tallest that I've ever grown. Taller than me now, and they're still not quite near flowering, so they've got a bit of growth to go. Okay, let's have a look at what's going on in the bed. Let's start at the back. So here is French beans. This was stuff that I didn't sow, but some roots were left in the ground from last year, and it's gone mental. It's wrapped itself around this pyramid trellis, around the support bods everywhere. That's okay, for the moment I don't need the space, so it can just do what it wants to do. The sweet corn plants are getting really big now. Again, I need to keep up with the fencing. The squirrels are back. They don't seem too interested in eating anything in the garden at the moment, but they're in burying nuts mode. This electronic deterrent thing I got off my dad, the squirrels don't seem at all deterred by it. but I haven't seen a cat in weeks, so yeah, doesn't work for squirrels. What else? So under this netting is Brussels sprouts. Again, they were attacked by caterpillars, but they seem to be doing okay. The courgettes in the middle of the bed, they're still producing fruit, but they're coming to the end of their life now. The cabbages, if I just move to the end of the bed, it's difficult to actually get in the bed at the moment. Okay, 1 second. I can quickly show you some of the Brussels sprouts. So yeah, you can see they've been a bit nibbled, but they're bouncing back, and hopefully they won't get any more nibbling going on. I've got one more application of the anti-caterpillar poison stuff, which I'll probably do this weekend. You can see there's another butterfly floating around now, so you do have to keep on top of it. But the treatment seems to work for a week or two before you have to use it again. So yeah, you can see the cabbages are doing well. You can see the leaves that got some nibbling at the beginning, but now we've got unblemished leaves. This one here has got a little bit purple, which the internet tells me is lacking nutrients of some kind. So what I'm going to do over the next couple of days of watering these, I'm also going to give them a feed. Anything else to show you? I think that's about it. As I say, I've not had as much time to do gardening videos. I'm recording lectures and doing things for work at the moment. But now's the time when I'm definitely going to start thinking about next batch of sowing and what's going to be here over winter. So that's probably what I'll do in the next episode. Thanks for still watching, and I'll end this episode here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.